시작!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Archive Blitz. Before we begin today's journey into the deep layers of the past, I want you to imagine a world where silence was a law and your shadow was your only companion. Today, we are unlocking a vault that has been sealed for 5 centuries. We are traveling back to the 16th century, to the heart of the Joseon Dynasty, a kingdom known as the Hermit Kingdom, to find a woman whose name managed to escape the cracks of time. History is often written by the victors, and almost always, the hands holding the brush are men. In the vast, meticulous records known as the Annals of the Joseon Dynasty, a monumental collection of 1,893 volumes covering nearly 500 years, the names of women are hauntingly rare. Usually, they appear as tragic queens, silent concubines, or nameless victims caught in the relentless gears of power. But if you search deep within the reign of King Jeongjong, a name emerges that defies every social law, every tradition, and every boundary of the era. It is a name that sounds like a whisper but carries the weight of a legend. Jang Geum. She was not born into royalty. She was not a warrior leading armies with a sword. She was a physician, a role that, in her era, was strictly forbidden for women when it came to treating the king. To some, she is a feminist icon who shattered the glass ceiling of an empire. To others, she is a ghost, a composite of many brilliant women whose identities were erased by a patriarchal history. Today on Archive Blitz, we are peeling back the layers of the 10 specific times her name was etched into the royal scrolls to find the truth. Behind the woman, the king himself called the Great. To understand why Jang Geum is considered a miracle, we must first understand the invisible wall she had to climb. 16th century Korea was governed by the iron rule of Neo-Confucianism. The concept of Neo, or the absolute separation of the sexes, dictated every breath of palace life. This created a dangerous and often fatal paradox. A male doctor, no matter how skilled, was forbidden from touching or even looking directly at the queen or the king's concubines. In an era where a simple infection or a difficult childbirth could mean death, the royal women were often left to suffer because the laws of modesty were placed above the laws of medicine. This desperation gave birth to the Uinyeo system, the medical women. But we must not romanticize their position. These women were not high-status doctors. They were technically government slaves, chosen from the lowest ranks of society. They were trained in the grueling arts of acupuncture and pulse reading so they could serve as the king's eyes and hands. They were healers in one moment and lowly servants the next. Most lived and died in total anonymity. But Jang Geum broke this mold. She didn't just survive this oppressive system. She mastered it so thoroughly that she moved from the slave quarters into the inner sanctum of the king's private chambers. The Annals do not tell a story with a beginning and an end. They provide us with 10 haunting snapshots of a life. Our story truly begins in April 1515, amidst a storm of political fire. Queen Jeongyong had just died from complications following the birth of the future king in Jong. The court was in a state of mourning and fury, and the ministers, looking for blood, demanded the severe punishment of the entire medical staff, including a young woman named Jang Geum. But then, King Jeongjong did something that shocked the entire Neo-Confucian establishment. He refused. He stood before his ministers and declared that Jeongjong deserved credit for the safe birth of the prince, and he would not allow her to be punished for the queen's death. From her very first mention in history, we see Jang Geum as a woman protected by the king himself. Years passed and her reputation grew. By 1522, she was being rewarded with fortunes in rice and beans for curing the queen mother. But the true turning point came in 1525. The king, recovering from a long illness, made a public declaration that would echo for 5 centuries. He stated that Dae Jang Geum was better than any other physician. This was the first time the title Dae, meaning great, was officially attached to her name. It was an unprecedented honor. A woman of the lowest birth was being ranked alongside the highest officials of the kingdom, not because of her blood, but because of her brilliance. What made her so special? The medical officer's journal gives us a clue. Jang Geum was a master of sikchi, the ancient belief that medicine and food shared the same root. She understood that a king's health wasn't just about bitter herbs or sharp needles, it was about the harmony of the body. She used the royal kitchen as her laboratory. She looked at how the soil, the seasons, and the flavors interacted with the human spirit. While other doctors looked at the disease, Jang Geum looked at the person. This healing through flavor is what transformed her from a simple practitioner into a legend. As we move toward the year 1544, the tone of the records becomes more intimate. King Jeongjong was dying. He was plagued by fever and severe ailments that the male doctors couldn't solve. In these moments of extreme physical vulnerability, the king turned to Jang Geum. She became the sole gatekeeper of the king's health. We see her reporting the king's most private conditions directly to the ministers. The king himself was recorded telling his relatives, "The female physician knows all about my condition." On November 13th, just days before his passing, the king sent a final message. He felt an immense sense of relief after Jang Geum's morning visit. That is the last time her name is ever written. 16 days later, the king died, and with his last breath, Jang Geum vanished. Did she flee the political purges, or did she retire in peace? We may never know her end, but her impact was already solidified. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more historical deep dives. Dae Jang Geum remains a metaphor for perseverance. She represents every woman whose intellect was so undeniable that even a world designed to silence them was forced to remember their names. She was the woman who treated the king of a nation, not with power, but with a needle, a bowl of soup, and a brilliance that 5 centuries could not erase.
달빛을 가르는 속도 사너리를 휘감아 풀잎 사이를 스친다 작고 빠른 발걸음 숨겨마저 바람 같다